Damn, son, where'd you find this?
FlyPod.
Welcome to episode 103 of the Fly Route Podcast. I am your host, Anthony, aka Tony Playboy, aka Bienemy is not the enemy, and I am here with the guys. Y'all got any AKAs for yourself? What's poppin', Cliff?
Hey, it's Cliff, aka the Glove, aka Super Bowl. Hey. Hey, he dropped the beat on. What you? You better flow on the line.
I'm trying to freestyle real quick.
Hey, you let it go a few more seconds, I might have. Son.
Oh, hey, don't play.
Hey, AKA Sam.
AKA, I was pulling up Twitter and Facebook to share the link. No AKA this week. Happy to end the season. Good Super Bowl. Thanks for listening all season. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, y'all know T.O. Twig Street, baby. No AKA this week either, man. It's been a little, I'm ready to cry. Football over.
Right.
But, football season, great season. It's been a great season on the pod. And we definitely appreciate all the love and support you guys been showing us for sure.
Yes, indeed. We have an exciting show today. We are recapping the Super Bowl and then recapping the overall season. This is our last episode for this season. As everybody said, we appreciate all y'all for rocking no matter where it is. Make sure you follow and stay tuned for when we pick back up. But let's get right into the Super Bowl. All right, and I want to start at the most controversial point of the Super Bowl, the Bradbury holding call. Where y'all at with it?
I thought it was a weak way to end the game just because I would have rather seen the Eagles get the ball back with a minute left rather than 7 seconds. It had been such a good game up to that point, and I don't think that it was – I think it was really 50-50. Like, you could have called a hold, you could not have. I would have rather just seen them let it play out and see the Chiefs go up 3 and give the Eagles the ball back with some more time to see a more exciting finish.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in position even at the top of the route. I feel like that's the only time he really put hands on him at all. But, when he came in and hit the pivot back out. But then when he spent and went up the field, he wasn't pulling them at that point. So for me, I'm like, I feel like we see that so much during the season that when it doesn't get called, that like in as big of a game as this is, I wouldn't like to see it there. But at the end of the day, on the other end, I'm also like, I mean, no matter if there's 15 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock, hold is a hold. You got to call it no matter where it's at in the game. But at the end of the day, us, being spectators and wanting to see a good game and especially not end like that, I think from our point of view, it's like, man, we really wish it wouldn't have ended like that. But you kind of got to call it whenever it happens. But we see it not get called. So we see it not get called so much.
I feel like I hated that it ended that way because it was a really good. It was making out to be a really good game, and he held him behind the line of scrimmage. He ran like a slant and then ran like the zig back outside, and he held him. From the screenshot I saw, he was behind the line of scrimmage. Like, it was like, okay, and then Mahomes just threw it. And when I saw the flag come out, it was low-key kind of late when the ball was – it was low-key – it was low-key by the time he saw the ball wasn't even going to be caught. It was when the flag came out. It's a zig route. It happened at the line behind the line of scrimmage is when the flag happened. He didn't hold him after that point. As soon as he turned upfield, he was just running with him, and then by that point, he did hold him. He did slow him down, but that position in the game, fans don't want to see that, but it's technically the right call.
Yeah, like if it was a more catchable ball, it'd have been like, okay, that was like obvious, like the Roby Coleman hit on the Saints a couple years ago. Like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that egregious. So for me, I just feel like they could have let it ride.
Yeah, I hated that. It ruined the game for me a little bit because it had been, as y'all said, really competitive, back and forth, both teams playing like crazy. And like y'all know, like it was not like fourth down. Like Mahomes would have had like do the Chiefs have the balls to go for it on fourth down there?
Mm-hmm.
If Mahomes makes that play, bro, like that is a legacy defining play. Or they kick the field goal, play it safe, and then we see what the Eagles could do. But like there were two really crazy outcomes that could have happened from that we got robbed of, bro. Like that's like a drive that either makes the legacy of Jalen Hurts or a play that extends the legacy of Patrick Mahomes. Because like at this point, Mahomes' legacy is crazy already.
Yeah, that's
a play that extends that legacy where it's like fourth down, all the chips on the line. It's the Super Bowl, and he's just like, I got it. Mm-hmm. I'm like that, right? And that left a really sour taste in my mouth. It was especially because of how non-impactful on the play the hold was. So
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping McKinnon just scored, but he played it smart, and I was like,
I thought they should have pushed him in there before he tried to slide.
Y'all running away from him. Yeah, y'all running away from him. I would have. You gotta know that.
Yeah,
you gotta know that.
Which you can. You can do that. Like, because you see people get tackled into the end zone all the time by just momentum. So I was shocked that like the coaching on it was just get out his way and expect him to make a mistake. That feels kind of poor coaching by the Eagles there. Like your prayer is that hope they make a mistake and play stupid. That's never a good way to coach a game. Where I feel like you had a guy behind him, that dude should have whooped and pushed him into the end zone. Like, because, like,
if you know you want him to score, then play leverage game. Have guys outside defending the sideline and make him, I mean, or you really let him go out of bounds. I mean, if you want to go out of bounds, but if he's going towards the end zone, at least chase him to make him, you made it easy on him, really.
Mm-hmm. I think you should at least.
In that point in the game, like, he probably wouldn't have, he might have just kept running the end zone because y'all chasing him like he's in the game, but he see y'all like backing off. He's like, man, I'm just going to
slide.
I think that was a mistake, not playing, like just letting him go. If they would have actually came up to him, acting like they was going to tackle him and stuff, he would have been like more like, oh, let me cover up the ball, blah, blah, blah. And then y'all just carry him into the end zone. Yeah. But if you just not going to chase him at all, then it's like, okay. I see what's going on here.
That was a little
great coaching by the Chiefs.
Facts.
Don't score a touchdown. They're gonna try to get a touchdown. Don't go in.
Yeah. Like that. That's just like tough. But you know, I feel like this is. It really hurt like the overall aspect of the game because like it took a lot of the air out the room for me, like especially. But you know, the Chiefs deserved to win the game. I don't think anybody could say they did it. Right, like they made a good comeback. They were kind of unstoppable. If you see, did you see those touchdown plays they ran on both sides? The little comeback,
bro. Listen,
how is
it pissed me off so bad during the game when I was watching because I'm like, bro. Regardless, like, okay, the Chiefs, they like to run the jet motions across the formation, but. Great coaching on the Chiefs' behalf because they see like, hey, they don't like to pass it off. They like to pass it off, whatever. However, they ran the same play twice and it was wide open twice. There's no excuse for that.
They just flipped the sides and ran the fake jet. The issue was the first one with Tony. Slay played it. And he was trying to communicate instead of keeping his eyes on the receiver. And Tony got back out quick. And with that sort of a distance in the goal line, the fact that it happened the first time, you're like, all right, great play. Mm-hmm. For it to happen again to the opposite side, and your corner, Maddox, is standing in the middle of the field by the time Mahomes is throwing the ball. He's not even – I don't even know what he was looking at. Like, if you're in man coverage and they've already done this to you and the guy's in motion, like, you better keep your fucking eyes on it, like, to even have a chance to make a play because if you don't, get back outside. I mean, we saw what happened. Both of them were really, really easy touchdowns that I think if they had put themselves in a better position, maybe not being in man or, switching it up, having a call for that after it just happened to you.
Exactly.
You gotta. I mean, it's the Super Bowl, bro. You gotta have a plan.
The thing that gets me too is it wasn't just like, for example, when Kadarius Toney caught the first one, bro. Travis Kelce was wide open too. Like it low key seemed like they didn't even play defense. It was just like, oh, here you go, get the touchdown. That's really what it seemed like. It was that easy. It was bad. Yeah, that pissed me off. Cause I'm like, there's no way you run the same play and y'all didn't patch that up on the sideline.
No way. Somebody off.
They're gonna come back to this in the goal line. Like that should be in your mind. Oh, they're gonna come back to this. Y'all should know that they're gonna come back to it. Like, great call, great coaching on the Chiefs' behalf, but terrible coaching on the Eagles' behalf. Like, no way they run the same play. Play twice. And it's wide open twice.
So
that shit is bad.
I'm not 100% sure, but the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure the Chiefs took that play from like the Titans or somebody else who hit the Eagles with that exact motion and they got lost for a touchdown earlier this year.
That's true. I feel like it was the Jaguars, but I can't.
The Jaguars, you're right.
A lot of teams. I mean, I feel like I saw Aaron Rodgers do that with Devontae Adams against Jalen Ramsey back. Like it's
that was different. I feel like in that one, Jalen was no longer on him. Like he was basically trying to move Devontae off of Jalen.
Did kind of a quick switch when you're in man and you have to respect the motion, you have to get across. And you gotta your path to getting across is way longer than the guy on offense because you gotta go around through your defensive players. He's going straight down the line of scrimmage. And he's there already. Like you can't be in a position where you're beat. Like you have to. The flats have to be. You have to designate that the flats are. You're not going to get beat in the flats. You're not going to get beat this close to the red zone. And it was just. I think that's just poor coaching. Or I feel like they looked better the first time than they did the second time they ran. Like it was wide open the second time. Like he could have turned his head and flicked the jump. I mean, it's Mahomes. He probably could have thrown that with his eyes closed if he really wanted to. That jump was wide open. But like, that's just tough to let happen to you.
It's inexcusable.
All right, helmet catch. Y'all think it was a catch? People were saying it wasn't a catch. They're a little spicy about this one. I thought it was a catch.
I thought it was a catch.
Yeah.
It was super impressive, catch or not. I mean, to be that close. And to pin it to the side like that, it was really like that David Tyree play, but the way he was turning made it almost more impressive. And to do it on the sideline rather than the middle of the field was crazy.
We talking about Smith?
Yeah.
That, I mean,
I thought that one was Goddard.
Oh, Goddard. There was two. Oh, no, that one wasn't a catch. The Devontae Smith one wasn't a catch.
Yeah, the Goddard one was the helmet catch.
The Goddard one was a tough catch. Yeah. It was a really tough catch, but it was an even better throw.
Yes.
That was a dot.
Yeah, I was like, Goddard. That Goddard one was crazy. I remember looking at it and being like, "Yo, he caught that. He put it against his helmet. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like the adjustment. Like, yo." Yeah, the Devontae Smith one was ruled not a catch, and I feel like even if that one was a catch, his karma caught up to him in that moment from that NFC Championship game.
I mean, he took multiple steps in bounds with the ball, and then
what sucks is that like because I think it was a clear call because he landed out of bounds and didn't have the ball still. Like I think if he had caught it inbounds and took that many steps. Because that's essentially took that many steps and then hit the ground and then lost control and they got it back there to call it a fumble recovery or whatever. Like, but because it was out of bounds, I think it, eliminated him as being established because he didn't complete the catch because he's going out of bounds. Okay. But it was a great play though.
I kind of hate the bobble rule for that reason on plays where they're going out of bounds because it takes away so many good catches where they do end up. The ball never touches the ground, but since they lose possession of it out of bounds, it's ruled not a catch, which I get, but also like I feel like there are some amazing catches that get bobbled a little bit out of bounds. It's like he had both feet in, he had possession inbounds, but like after he's out of bounds, he bobbles it a little bit. I don't know. Maybe the ball should be dead as soon as you go out of bounds. I don't know.
That's like a Jamar Chase catch against the Bills in the playoffs a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into our players of the game with T.O., I will give the final results of our NFL playoff bracket challenge.
Ooh.
Nobody on the podcast won. B. Roche won by a clear 4 points, predicting the winner of the Super Bowl correctly as the Kansas City Chiefs. B. Roche was the only person to pick the Kansas City Chiefs to win
That's
the Super
crazy.
Bowl in the bracket challenge. Like, we had a lot of Bills, we had some Niners, some Bengals, we had one Cowboys fan, but some of y'all be kind of wild and Cliff.
Hey, look, it wasn't me.
And B. Roche won. T.O. and Cliff were tied for second place.
Yeah, I'll take
Sam
it.
was fourth, and I rounded out the top 5. All right. So that was the end of our bracket playoff challenge. Shout out to B. Roche, listener submission, for winning the bracket pretty handedly. I'm not going to lie. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
He spanked us.
You ain't lying. All right. So that is it for the recap. We got T.O. hitting us up with our players of the game from the Super Bowl.
I mean, we know who the player of the game was offensive-wise, even though our honorable mention guy had a better overall game. But Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to give it to the Super Bowl MVP here. Went 21 for 27, had 182 yards, 3 scores, and 2 of his 6 incompletions came on throwaways. And, I mean, he ended the day with an 80-plus PFF grade, both as a passer and a rusher. So, pretty good day. Defensive guy, we're going to go with Nick Bolton from the Chiefs. Clear reason here. Before halftime, had the scoop and had pretty much the biggest defensive play of the game. And he finished with 4 tackles that resulted in a defensive stop. So, I mean, he had a really good day. Obviously, that defensive touchdown was really huge. If they didn't get that, then it would have been, 27-31-7 going to halftime. So, I mean, really huge play there. And then on the kicker, we're actually going to go with a guy from the losing team here. However, we're going to go with Jake Elliott. However, like I said, the guy was perfect in the playoffs. So, I mean, hats off to him. Still got to give it to him here. He's just been automatic. He was 2 for 2 on field goals, 3 for 3 on PAT. So he had a pretty nice day as well. But I also want to give a special shout out to Jalen Hurts, man. He had a great day. Only, obviously, mistake was the fumble, which was a terrible fumble. I don't know what the hell it was. Shit was terrible. But, I mean, the man had a day in the Super Bowl. He went 27 for 38, 304 yards. That's and with three rushing touchdowns and passing touchdown. So, I mean, the man ball, hats off to these guys in the Super Bowl playing at the highest level. But that has it for the players of the week.
All right, facts. So that wraps up our Super Bowl recap in general. We have a best moments of the 2022-2023 NFL season bracket challenge that we are going to go through, highlight some of the best moments, and Sam got us here.
So do you want to share the bracket or do you want me to share the bracket?
On screen?
Yeah. Or do we want to? We could just talk through it. It doesn't matter.
I don't mind. We can see how it looks. Let's see. I don't know if it's worth being on screen the entire time, but we will see.
Yeah. We can just flash it on there at some point.
Okay. Hold on. All right. I will flash it on there whenever you're ready. It's ready now.
All right. Let's go ahead and just flash it on there real quick. We got 16 moments from the NFL season that we put in a bracket style challenge. We randomized the seeds to put them up against each other. So in the first round, we got I'll just go through them all real quick, and we'll go through them round by round. We got Baker Mayfield's win in his first Rams start. He had been on the team for like 24 hours. and got put in the game and got the win in a walk-off fashion. Up against the Patriots, punt return against the Jets. That was a game where the game was tied 3-3 the whole game, and then the Patriots win it on a walk-off punt return. We got Joe Mixon's 5 touchdowns versus the Panthers versus the Raiders winning a game on a walk-off where Jacoby Myers threw a lateral pass back to Mac Jones with the game tied. And the Raiders intercepted it and brought it back for a touchdown. Maybe one of the most hilarious moments of the season. Then we got Travis Kelce having 4 touchdowns versus the Raiders versus Josh Jacobs' 86-yard walk-off touchdown in overtime versus the Seahawks. We got Tyreek Hill's fumble recovery. There was like a 70-yard touchdown versus Cooper Rush winning a bunch of games, filling in for Dak Prescott for Dallas. We got Trevor Lawrence's comeback win in the wild card round after throwing 4 picks in the first half versus Justin Jefferson's one-handed catch in crunch time versus the Buffalo Bills. Then we got Tua's 6 touchdowns versus the Ravens, which tied an NFL record for single-game touchdowns versus Cordarrelle Patterson, breaking the kickoff record. Brock Purdy beating Tom Brady in his first start versus Taylor Heineke, turning Washington season around. And then to round it out, we got the Vikings, biggest comeback in NFL history, coming back 33-0 against the Colts versus Nyheim Hines, kick return touchdowns in the game following Damar Hamlin's injury. So in the first round, we got Baker's win up against the Patriots punt return. And I want to get y'all's vote on it, and whatever y'all end up voting on is who will go on. I'm not going to vote for these. I did fill out a bracket and we just did it for fun that way, but I want to turn it to Anthony first. Who are you voting for in Baker versus the Patriots?
Okay. So this is kind of one of those big things for me. Whole games did not do as well for me in the brackets, as well as individual plays. I feel like Baker's first win for the Rams was dope. It was a big moment considering the situation, but that punt return win was crazy. Everybody was garbage all game long, could not score all game long, and then the last play of the game was just we'll let this one ride. That was crazy. It was the only exciting thing to happen that game.
Low key, we already know what you're gonna vote for.
Hey, y'all already know where I'm at with this one.
I agree. I mean, that I literally remember watching that game. It was like, this game's ass. They might have. It was a
good defensive game.
They might have go to OT, and I'm gonna have to watch some more of this shit. So that was a big play, big moment this season.
It was a good defensive game.
So we got the Patriots moving on over Baker in the first round. Next one we got is Joe Mixon versus the Raiders walk-off win off the Jacoby Myers backwards lateral. Chris, who got winning this one?
Gotta be Jacoby, man. I mean, the game's tied. He might have forgot they scored last time they had the ball. I don't really have an answer for it. I don't know what it's not even a situation where you say the guy's trying to do too much. I really just don't know what the hell he was doing. I don't know.
Listen, I mean, for the simple fact that it pissed me off, I didn't pick it in my bracket. But look, I mean, I'm gonna go with it here because Matt got obliterated with that stiff arm from Chandler Jones. It was just probably the dumbest play I've seen this season. So, I mean,
it is the definition of a comedy of errors. Just one by one. Stevenson throws it back, and everybody's like, what?
We just standing there trying to figure out what's going on.
He should have just went out of bounds.
I'm gonna follow his lead.
Shit.
That was just dumb. Just dumb.
Yeah, that was gold.
Yeah, so that one's moving on. Anthony, you voting for that one too? Is that one a clean sweep?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So then, for the third round, we got Travis Kelce's 4 TDs versus the Raiders versus Josh Jacobs, 86-yard overtime walk-off touchdown versus Seahawks, and it put him at 303 yards rushing for the day, which is pretty crazy. T.O., I'm going to go with you first on this one.
I mean, honestly, like the Josh Jacobs thing was big, but like I went with on this one, I'm going to go with Kelsey. And I'm going with that because, like, literally he didn't do anything but score touchdowns. He only had, 26 yards receiving. Like, bro, what? So, like, the Josh Jacobs thing was big, though. But for me, I feel like in this bracket, I looked at overall success as well, and the Raiders were. So,
yeah, I probably had to go with the Josh Jacobs. I was a big hater on Josh Jacobs before the season started, and he had a really good year. And not even if we're not even including the game, the 303 yards he had in that game, to break that type of run in that type of game for a dub is pretty tough.
Yeah, I had Josh Jacobs too. Like, come on, walk off 86-yard run. Like
that was crazy though. It was.
Yeah, like Kelsey scoring 4 TDs was crazy, particularly because like the Raiders were up by so much and then just collapsed. But like none of those TDs looked as impressive as the 86-yarder. Like for the most part, that dude was just, as always, butt naked open, and we were like, "What's everybody else doing?"
Bro, I don't know how this man always open, bro.
How he the only person on that offense that I will make sure is not open.
And
he's the only one I would
always
open.
Come on,
He's
bro.
the only person I would double triple team, and I'm running press man on everybody else. Now beat me, but he's always wide open. I don't get it.
No, that was wild.
Yep. So that's a 2-1 for Josh Jacobs. Next, we got Tyreek Hill's fumble recovery for like a 70-yard touchdown versus Cooper Rush's success in filling in for Dak. I'm going to turn this one over to Cliff first, our Cowboys fan. What you think?
Wait, which one? The Cooper Rush versus
Tyreek Hill.
Definitely Tyreek Hill. Cooper Rush, I mean, I think he did a good job, handling the reins. I didn't expect him to win that many games, if I'm being honest. But the Tyreek Hill play, I remember watching, and the ball just popped out. Nobody saw the ball. Nobody saw him until it was too late. And I saw it happen. It was like slow-mo. It was just like, I don't even know anything. It looked fake. Like, I was like, yeah. So the Tyreek Hill fumble recovery for a touchdown definitely took it from me.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, I can see either or here. I only voted for Cooper Rush because, I mean, he kept y'all afloat, and I feel like they had a bigger impact for the season for y'all than the fumble recovery for the Dolphins. So,
yeah.
The biggest thing about Cooper Rush, though, was it, for some reason, created such a swirl of rumors around Dak Prescott and whether or not, like, they was going to move on and reset the cap. And, like, all that nonsense, then, like, the huffing and puffing. And it's like, well, if Dak comes back, are you going to pull Cooper because he's undefeated? Like, come on. Like, that was the most memorable part of that run, is how quickly people started turning tail on Dak when Cooper went on a little run real quick. Yeah. And if it wasn't for the Eagles curve stopping them the week before Dak came back, I feel like y'all would have moved way different when the time came.
It very well could have. Like,
yeah, it could have. Definitely.
I think that's probably why I didn't vote for it, because they did hype up him winning all them games, or winning four games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was already expect disappointment. You can't be disappointed anyway. So it didn't make no difference to me this season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is a pretty crazy matchup. The randomized seeds, I feel like, made this one pretty wild. It's Trevor Lawrence's comeback in the wild card after he threw 4 picks in the first half versus Justin Jefferson's one-handed catch in crunch time versus the Bills. Anthony, I'm going to turn this one over to you first. What do you think?
Yeah, I went for Justin Jefferson. Like, I feel like the impact on the league of Trevor Lawrence's comeback was bigger, but the moment, Like there isn't like a moment that stands out to me in that comeback. It's just like a series of what the fuck are the Chargers doing over and over again. It's like, why have they stopped running the ball? Why are they still not running the ball? It's been 12 minutes. And it's not a moment that stands out for me besides but the outcome is big. That Justin Jefferson catch is crazy. Like I went back and saw it again. Like he is in prime position to get Moss. Receiver has two hands over the ball, and he has one hand in the middle and just says, "Give me these cookies." And I was like, "Yo, that crazy, like crazy." I think that's probably one of the best catches of this season.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best catches. I think I ended up going with the Trevor Lawrence because of it being a playoff game. And I mean, the Chargers defense folded and I mean their offense folded and their defense. Yeah. I think they both folded. And I mean the team folded. The team folded to let that happen in a playoff game, man. Like,
yeah,
the team folded and you made Trevor Lawrence look like OP in his first playoff game. In his first playoff game, like.
Yeah, I picked the Trevor Lawrence one here too, because the Justin Jefferson catch was that man, it was insane. But for me, it was more so like you say, like playoff game. And honestly, you think about it, people was cutting the game off. Next thing you know, it's like, hey, yo. Hey, yo. So for me, that's why I went with the Trevor Lawrence one. But the Justin Jefferson catch was crazy. Like, it had a big impact on that game. But just from like the whole like impact, I feel like the Trevor Lawrence was a little bigger.
Why if I'm Kirk Cousins, he should have thrown it to Justin Jefferson on that 4th and 8 and not
talk about
3 yards down the field.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when Mahomes be like, yo, Tyreek out there somewhere when Tyreek was on the team, he's like, sometimes I just talk like, he's like, Tyreek over there. He gonna get like Mahomes to say that. He's like, it's like that meme. He's like, Tyreek over there somewhere, and I just toss it. And he gonna run up under it.
Facts.
Justin Jefferson is that type of dude in that moment where you gotta be like, all right, Jay Dennis is over there.
Right.
He over there. He over there.
Wow.
He gonna make something shake.
Oh, that would be me. 20. Hey, listen. Eyes closed and everything.
He over there.
I'll take my chances rather than throwing a 3-yard pass for sure.
Facts.
Even if it's a 60-40 ball for the other player, I'm taking it.
I'm taking it. I'm taking that 10 times out of 10. 4th and 8.
That's facts.
Yeah. I feel like both of those could have gone far if they weren't paired up against each other in the first round.
100%.
Yeah. So the next one we got is 2 of 6 touchdowns versus the Ravens. That tied an NFL record for touchdowns in a single game versus Cordarrelle Patterson breaking the career kickoff return touchdown record this season. I'm going to turn this one over to T.O. first. What you think?
I mean, honestly, I went with the 2 of 6 touchdowns versus the Ravens here. I feel like that was really big. I mean, Dolphins beginning of the season, they was going crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. They was going crazy. And honestly, to me, I feel like Cordarrelle Patterson, he's definitely had a great career, even being a kick return and everything. But the impact of it was just like, he's just out here for stats at this point. Like, literally, that's all it was. So, I mean, it got to be the tour for me because they, like I said, it actually meant something. But, you know, I like Cordarrelle Patterson a lot too. I just don't feel like it really meant anything.
Damn.
I disagree. Bro. Like,
it's big, but it don't. I mean, we're playing for the Falcons, my boy.
Look, at the moment, the 2 of 6 TDs thing seemed incredible and crazy until everybody gave up the goods when the Ravens had a lead all season long. Until it kept getting replicated over and over and over, where every Trevor Lawrence was just running the table with Christian Kirk and homeboy that came off of the Raiders. Zay Jones, just eating them alive in the moment. Like, I'm just like, everybody give up the goods to the Ravens when they had a lead. The Ravens couldn't stop a nosebleed when they had a lead. They just didn't know what to do. Like, game close, like the Ravens are like, all right, we locked in. We look like the Ravens. Once they get that big lead, they was out of there. Cordell Patterson was big for me because a lot of he holds the all-time NFL record. We ain't talking about just stats. That's the all-time NFL record.
But he played for the Falcons.
He's playing for the Falcons. This actually sucks because Devin Hester did the same thing. Leave the Bears and then officially break the record on the Falcons instead of on the Bears. Hurts to see. But most importantly, if you watch that play, almost every single player for the other team was within a fingertip length of Cordell Patterson. He's just bucking it. They just can't even get their hands on him how fast he's moving. Like the kicker looked like he is literally frozen in time when Cordell Patterson runs past him. Like it is crazy. Like a lot of kickoff returns are like, yo, they hit one side, come back the other way, they got all the blocking. Most of the guys can't even touch them once they get past like the first 3 or 4, right? And then like they just up the sideline. No, he went up the middle of the field. Like everybody just just falling. That's crazy.
I mean, it's big, but it ain't. Like it's a record, but it ain't mean nothing. You playing for
I think it's a great stat. I mean, like I both said, it is an all-time NFL record, but it is like there is no impact on y'all's season, and and it's not who are they even playing? Like they're playing somebody ass probably.
Hey, question: has anybody talked about it since
I'm not discrediting the special teams.
I'm not discrediting it.
I'm not discrediting the special teams, but I personally have to take the 2 of 6 touchdowns because I mean it's still the Ravens. I mean I think the Ravens defense is still a good defense. I just think Tua showed it was a game where Tua showed like some play that we hadn't seen from him before. So I think that's why the moment was really big for me.
Question: has anybody talked about the Cordell Patterson breaking the kickoff return record since it happened?
Probably not much.
Oh my God.
See, that's why this is
just rude. Like you're not wrong, right?
That should be big.
I'm not going to talk about who it happened against because it doesn't matter.
It happened against y'all, huh?
What?
I guess it's only right, bro. Devin Hester was with y'all. Look, it's only right, bro.
All right.
That was fate right there. That was fate.
Yeah, y'all can have that one.
And you picked it.
Look, y'all did not. So I guess it's out the tournament. We didn't got to talk about it, and we can move right on.
We got Brock Purdy beating Tom Brady in his first start versus Taylor Heineke turning the Washington Commanders season around. I'm going to start with Cliff on this one.
I went with Brock Purdy beating Tom Brady. I know it was a trash game, but he went out there and just executed. And like I think it was even more impressive that he blew out Brady. Like when does Brady ever get blown out? When is he losing to a rookie, late Mr. Irrelevant pick in his first start? Like I feel like that doesn't. I think that moment to me is just a big moment. Like I think he just, Brock Purdy being where he was picked just kind of outshines Taylor Heineke. To me, that moment is shattered because they benched him in a game they need to win and put in Carson Wentz because y'all want to get a higher draft pick. Like y'all had a better chance to win with Taylor Heineke, 100% in my opinion.
Oh, they definitely did.
So you're full on board. The Commanders were tanking.
100%.
Oh, 1,000%.
You don't put that man in there, man. You just don't. Like for what? What has he done?
Look, I just remember the post-game conference with Ron Rivera when they told him he was eliminated from the playoffs because they lost that game, and he did not know that game eliminated them from the playoffs. He was like, what? We're what?
That's a perfect position to act dumb. First off, you're dead wrong telling me you're the head coach and don't know that this game, if you lose this shit, you out the playoffs.
Exactly.
when you're playing for the playoffs.
Hey, what Brian
And
Flores say? They paid me $100,000 to lose the game.
They told Carson Wentz to go in there and do what he does, and he did. That's what they told him. They took an L.
I mean, just like Cliff said, like to me, it's Purdy with no brainer. Because I mean, honestly, to me, if you go back and look like post game, once the game's over, too, like you say, like this was the first time I think I've seen Brady like look defeated for real. Like I think at that moment he knew we ain't shit. Like. All honesty, I think literally, like if you go back and you see his facial expressions after that game and stuff, he looked like, damn, like this is really it. Like, and that hey, it's Purdy for me. It's Purdy for me.
Look, I went Taylor Heineke, but I clearly have been cooked out this one. Like I get the whole Purdy thing, but like that game was way more about the 49ers defense than it was about Brock Purdy. And like the fact that they gave Tom night terrors. He ain't sleep for the next week the way he was cutting up on them. And I'm not taking it away from Purdy. I've been a big Purdy person all pod, right? But I just thought Taylor Heineke turning around the Washington Commanders and then them immediately squandering it was hilarity. Like it just showed like, damn, you all could have saved yourself about like what $30 million and just rolled with Taylor Heineke from the start. It got busy, and you still would have got Sam Howell. He would have probably got more reps and got better over this. Yeah. Like it just shows the absolute dysfunction that is the Washington Commanders in every way possible.
It was dope seeing Taylor Heineke buy the O-line all the different Jordans after they won every week too.
Yeah,
they just rode for that dude.
There's no other reason you put Carson Wentz in, man. You know he's not your guy, bro.
Yeah. Besides the fact that you traded it for him, gave up picks, and then you have to pay him $30 billion.
Move anyway.
That's like a GM. I feel like if it's not tanking, right? If it's not tanking. That feels like a GM trying to justify a bad move to an owner.
That's hubris.
By being like, look, see, it worked out because the team got their shit together. It just took them a while. Carson was able to lead us there. Or you're tanking, and y'all got
Carson
that part.
Ain't lead us nowhere. He ain't lead us nowhere.
How many games did he? Hell no. In the games he did play, he might have had one good game. I promise you those other games were no good from what I saw from his stats in the season. And that last one was even bad. It's probably the worst one. The last one's probably the worst one.
Okay.
The next round and this is the last one to round off round one. This is another one where I feel like both of these moments would go pretty far if they weren't matched up against each other. We got the Vikings, biggest comeback in NFL history, down 33-0 at half. Versus Nyheim Hines returning 2 kicks, including first play of the game, kickoff return for a touchdown in the week following Damar Hamlin's injury. So I'm going to go with Cliff on this one first. Who you got out of this one?
I think it's got to be Damar Hamlin 2 kick return just of the moment. I think, after what had happened the week prior. And the Vikings came back on the Colts, who they should have never been down 33 points on anyway. So I think the Nyheim Hines and he had just, they signed him too. He was they traded for him.
They traded for him.
Yeah, they traded for him. Ironically, from the Colts, we're talking about the Colts, but I think that moment was just a bigger moment overall for the team.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that, even though I put the Vikings comeback.
Oh, you flipping now?
Yeah, now that I think about it.
But
you want to know the reason why I ain't picking on my bracket?
Why?
Because you know who he returned them against?
That's why? All right, fine. I
picked Tio bias.
You know why I ain't picking. You know why. Don't play.
All right, so is it a 1-1 now or a 2-0?
It's 2-0.
It's a 2-0.
Okay.
Tio, why the Patriots defense on here for so many negative things, man?
Hey, listen, bro.
Well, really, not even the defense. Y'all got your offense, special teams. Defense
Everybody.
Everybody.
Hey, look,
Everybody
let me take my glasses off so I can see. Hold on.
Look, I had the Vikings 33 come back, but
I did too.
That's
I had
just
that
because
one.
like that kick return was dope. Like I can't hate on it. I get it. But all in all, that's just a historic collapse. And I think like that was the point where everybody was willing to stop pretending like Jeff Saturday might have had some juice. And that's why it was an important moment to me. Because that was the moment that everybody was like, all right. Because like when Jeff Saturday said some team was trash, showed up and then immediately beat that team, right?
That was wild.
I forget which team it was.
It was the Raiders.
Raiders. He called the Raiders trash, then popped up and fresh in his first coaching job and beat the Raiders. I was like, all right. Then everybody was like, he might have some juice. This collapse, everybody stopped thinking he might have some juice. And that's why it was big for me.
No, I did pick it in my bracket though.
Well, which way you slide it? We gotta like advance the thing. Are you flipping or are you staying?
Which way you going?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I did have that one, so I'm gonna stick with that one.
All right. He's
Vikings
not a bit sure no more.
So for now we're in the Elite Eight, and this is funny because we got two Patriots moments against each other, one good, one bad. We got the Patriots winning on a walk-off punt return, and we got the Patriots losing on a walk-off reverse lateral for an interception touchdown. So
I mean,
I'm gonna give it to T.O. first, naturally. Which one of these Patriots moments you got?
Although I want to pick the punt return because we won, it got to be the Raiders W on that buffoonery of a lateral pass that we did. So I done spoke my piece on this play. But I'm going with the Jacoby Myers play.
Look, I can let you know right now. This is my season winner. This is my season winner by far. Because they had to ask everybody what they were thinking. They're just like, momentary lapse in judgment. I knew what the score was. I just don't know why I did it.
Wait, you don't got an answer? And you just did some outlandish shit like that. Is like I said, I didn't even know what I was watching. I was confused. Like there was a point that was supposed to be on the board that wasn't on the board, and they was losing the game. Like,
no, I can promise you, I took at least one shot after that. At least. I went and got the bottle. I
need at least 3 after that.
Hey, listen, I was hot.
Each mistake made.
I was hot.
For each lateral on the play.
And I think like I feel bad because everybody really roasted Jacoby Myers because it was his lateral that led to the stiff arm, right? When like ain't no like, yo, Stevenson, why did you lateral first? Like Jacoby just kind of seemed to like catch the vibe. It was like, I guess I'm gonna run with it.
Like, we're lateraling now.
Yeah. All right. It's like when somebody start running, so everybody start running. He's like, I guess that's the vibe.
Yeah, that seemed like pure panic mode. Like Stevenson low-key set him up.
Yes.
He low-key set him up.
No situational awareness. None at all.
All right, so we got Jacoby Myers moving on. Next round, we got Josh Jacobs walk-off touchdown versus the Seahawks versus Tyreek's fumble recovery for a touchdown. I'm going to give this one to Anthony first. Who you got in this one?
I still went with the Josh Jacobs one. Like that, the Tyreek one was just such a freak moment, you know? Like no one knows what's going on until Tyreek is like 15, 30 yards down the field. It's like by the time you know what's happened, it's over. Like only God can stop Tyreek Hill at this point. Like Josh Jacobs just blew through the Seahawks defense and just walk off OT, like highest moment, like that was just huge for me. So I gave it to Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with that one too, because simple fact, I mean, it was that in the moment as well. And shoot, 300-yard rushing game, like you don't see that too often. So I'm gonna go Josh Jacobs here too.
I ended up going Tyreek Hill just because it was like a freak moment. I mean, like it just popped out, and then nobody on the field knows what's going on until he gone, bro. How you don't see him running? Like what you don't. I mean, I guess it might not be that hard not to see him running because he be moving, but
yeah, he do be moving.
It was just a really freak moment. So it was a crazy play though.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the next one we got Trevor Lawrence come back in the wild card game versus Tua's 6 touchdowns versus the Ravens. I'm gonna give this one a TO first.
Yeah, I got the Trevor Lawrence. It's just a bigger moment. No way you throw 4 picks in the first half and you down 27-0 and you win that game. There's no way. So gotta go Trevor there.
Anyone disagree?
Nah. Like I had neither of these at this point, so like it's an all L for me at this point in the bracket. But it's a playoff game. It's a playoff game. Like, yeah. They said Trevor arrived after that game.
No, yeah. That's. I mean, you come back from that. I mean,
that's big, yeah.
Okay.
And then to round out the Elite Eight, we got Purdy beating Brady in his first start versus the Vikings. Come back on the Colts. Cliff, what do you think about this one?
Well, because I didn't pick the other one, I'm a rock with the Purdy game. I just think that's bigger. I think the Vikings didn't beat anybody. They beat Jeff Saturday and the Colts, who, again, they should never been in that position.
They literally spotted them 33 points.
Mr. Irrelevant quarterback, regardless of his team, beat Tom Brady in his first start. I mean, that's just a big moment to me.
Yeah. I'm rocking.
Anyone going the other way?
Nah.
No, I'm with Purdy as well.
All right. Well, yeah, we got the Final Four. I feel like the Purdy thing, if it wasn't Brady, maybe the first start isn't the big thing, and I would have thrown in like Brock Purdy going undefeated to round out the season or whatever. But I feel like the moment of beating Tom Brady in your first start, just the magnitude of that is big enough to be its own thing. So for the Final Four, yeah, facts. For the Final Four, we got the Jacoby Myers play up against the Josh Jacobs walk-off. These are 2 walk-off wins, but very different in nature. T.O., are you going to break your streak or are you going to keep voting for Jacoby?
I'm going to vote for Jacoby. It pissed me off every time I vote for it, too. It pissed me off every time.
So both those games is walk-offs, and this is going to be a walk-off win for Jacoby Myers.
Yes, it is. Y'all already know where my bracket's at. Like, hey. So then that leaves us with the other half of this bracket.
Yeah, so the other half of the Final Four bracket, sorry, my browser is being weird. 1 second. The other half of the Final Four bracket is Brock Purdy versus the Trevor Lawrence comeback in the wild card round. Anthony, who you got for this one?
Oh, man. Like, I didn't have any of these moments this high up, man. I just thinking about it, I was just give it to Trevor. Just for the same reasons why Purdy didn't make it out the first jar for me. Like, I feel like that win was more about the Niners defense than it was about Brock Purdy, even though Brock Purdy played well, right? Like, what Trevor did was crazy. It required a lot of buffoonery by the Chargers, but he did it. He executed, and like coming back from throwing 4 picks in the first half and just being steel with it, that says something. That's a different level of poise.
Yeah, we rocking Trevor Lawrence out here.
Yeah, I agree.
So that means for the finals, we got Trevor Lawrence come back in the wild card round versus the Jacoby Myers walk-off lateral. versus the Raiders. T.O., will the streak continue?
Yeah. Buffoonery of the season. Buffoonery of the season.
This been my bracket W Bo for get. I knew this motherfucker was gonna win.
So that means Jacoby Myers wins no matter what. But Cliff, what do you think? You think
I had this is my exact 2 in the finals, and I mean, there's always that one play in a season where you're like, "What the fuck was that?" And this one takes the cake this year.
I agree. It was the funniest one to look back on and remember because I'd kind of forgotten about it. I was just watching like best moments of the season YouTube videos to like refresh and make the bracket with. And that was on every single one of them. And it was just funny to watch every single time.
Hey, Cliff had the most accurate bracket.
Hey,
Beat me by 7. Shit wasn't even close. Yeah, all right. Hey,
I had Baker winning mine and another
Ow.
I just from what I remember watching the games live, I feel like that's the most memorable one watching live. And I think it's just so impressive to not have practiced with the team, to just show up there and be like, "What up, guys? I'm Baker. We're going to try to win this game." And then to do it. And wasn't that one against the Raiders too?
Yeah, it was.
The Raiders
really had themselves in a lot of sticky situations. They were able to win the best moment of the season, but they probably had 6 of them happen against them from the bracket.
That's just like Josh Jacobs was the only super bright spot on the entire team. Like, don't get me wrong, Devontae Adams had a good season, but that's because he's Tay. Right, like it's going to take a lot to make him not have a good season. Max Crosby did have a great season. Like, shout out to him for real talk. But the actual bright spot of the everything that happened all year long for the Raiders was Josh Jacobs.
They had a lot of bad moments. I mean, they had the walk-off L to the Cardinals on the fumble recovery. Like, they had some tough ones.
They lost to the Colts. Like, ain't no tougher moment than that. Like,
after he said he was trash.
Yeah.
I mean, like, dang. Come to find out he's trash.
Yeah. It's a what does that make us moment? You know, like, damn. Yo, that is our bracket for the best moments of the season. We will move right into Cliff giving us the new coach's hires in RPO fashion.
All right, so I'm gonna start with this one. What you gonna do, Sam? Run or pass? Head coach Sean Payton will fix the Broncos offense and get Russ back cooking. Run or pass?
I'm going to run with it. I think they'll be a lot better, but with Mahomes and Herbert in the division, I don't know if it will be enough to get – I think they could get a wild card spot for sure, but I don't think they're going to win the division or anything. But I think it will look a lot better because Nathaniel Hackett just had a lot of like clock management problems and problems with protecting Russ. He was getting sacked all the time. So to me – like I've said on the pod before this when we talked about it, Sean is always top 10 in points and in yards. So I feel like adding that in, and they have a decent amount of weapons. It can't look worse. So I'm gonna run with it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I feel the same way. This next one's for T.O. Cardinals' new head coach and former Eagles defensive coordinator John Gannon will get Kyler Murray and the Cardinals in the playoffs next season. Run or pass?
Hey, call me Tom Brady. It just ain't no way. It's going to be a lot of things. I feel like in this off season that's going to happen too. I feel like they feel really bad that they inked Kyler Murray to that deal, and then he went out and performed the way he did as well this season. And then obviously to go out with that injury was tough. They also extended Cliff Kingsbury, who they gave a boot. So like it's a lot of dysfunction going on over there as well that nobody's talking about. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be out more than likely. So I mean, Yeah.
Hey,
It
real
ain't
quick.
happening. It ain't happening.
Real quick. All right. So we know Nick Sirianni did not win Coach of the Year. I didn't think he should win Coach of the Year. I thought Dable was supposed to win it. We talked about this, but that was just because GM of the Year should have clearly been Howie Roseman for the team he put together.
Agreed.
Now, the Eagles defensive coordinator is not bad, but y'all gave him the fucking all-star team. He got a head coaching job off coaching the all-star team?
And
I'm just saying.
and we talked about his lack of adjustments on the same goddamn play in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he finna go out there looking like Cliff Kingsbury.
He about to go.
He might look worse, yo, because Cliff Kingsbury could at least scheme up offense. The problem was when everybody caught up to all his new wrinkles for the year, they fell off. Whether you think that's Kyler not, doing what he's supposed to do and like taking that next step to get ahead of the next step people take, I don't know. Whether that's Cliff not making adjustments, adding new wrinkles, I don't know. But we know that first half of the season, Cliff was out here looking like Megamind.
Man.
All right? The first half he was Brain, the second half he was Pinky. All right? I don't know if I can say that about the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, like because he was coaching the all-star team on defense.
Yeah, that situation you're in is totally different. Cliff Kingsbury looked stressed every game he was coaching, bro. If you just watch him on the sideline, bro's always just stressed the whole game. Just
veins popping out his head.
Like it's just. Yeah, I don't know if John Gannon knows exactly what he got himself into, and he probably should have just wrote it out with that defense he had in Philly.
Agreed.
So this next one's for Ant. Bill O'Brien will resurge Mac Jones in the Patriots offense. Run a pass.
I'm going to run with it. Like, they were really bad this year. They were really, really bad. And I think Bill O'Brien is a good coach, bad GM, right? Like, his coaching jobs in Houston were good. They went to the playoffs multiple times. Deshaun Watson was out here leading the league in passing. Like, he was doing, like, his ability to coach the game is clear to me. I think, like, he will actually give them an offensive coordinator in the room. Like, if you go from no offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator acting like he's your offensive coordinator to an actual offensive coordinator, you just have to make improvement. Like, I just like you just have to do it. You just have to do it. They traded for Devontae Parker and he disappeared. They didn't even highlight him in Miami and he was still doing fantastic stuff week in, week out, making crazy catches. Bro went to New England and disappeared.
He had like two good games, and then it was like, MIA.
Every season, there's at least like one or two Devontae Parker catches that you're like, yo, he ain't have one this year. Like, and that wasn't like Fitzmagic throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
Ironically, Jacoby Myers is probably the best receiver on that team this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it a buck.
So this next one is for everybody. Mike LaFleur will have more success with the Rams offense than he did with the Jets offense. Run a pass.
I'm going to run with it. And I just think, check me out here. Again, Zach Wilson was historically terrible. So I just feel like getting away from Zach Wilson is a very positive note that will help you out. Then on top of that, being under Sean McVay and knowing McVay actually calls most of the plays will probably help you get some credit you may or may not deserve. Who knows? Like, the enemy will call plays and never get credit. But, hey, you might get yours. Like, we know you can't be an offensive coordinator for the Rams without getting a head coaching job. You just can't. So I get why he took it. You can't stay in that position for more than 2 years before they're like, we like him. So I like it for him. I think it'll help out significantly. But then the next guy, I guess Nathaniel Hackett now probably will get a new quarterback in the room, which kind of sucks for him.
I'm gonna probably run too. The only thing I'm questioning too is like, is Stafford going to be healthy and available? That's going to be a big question mark too, because then it's like, if no Stafford, then I mean, who's the quarterback in LA? So it's like
Baker.
I mean, if he comes back,
Baker gonna cling on to Sean McVay for dear life. That man is on his third team in a year and a half. That look, all I'm saying is that man is clinging on to Sean McVay like the last life raft on the Titanic.
Yeah,
And he was the number 1 overall pick.
Crazy.
yeah. I can see that. I can definitely see him, no matter what, trying to stick it out in LA. So yeah, I can see that.
What you think, Sam?
Yeah, I agree with that. And the only thing I have to add in, I just feel like it's weird that the Jets were like, nah, not Mike LaFleur, but you know who looks great? Nathaniel Hackett. Like,
Bro,
what?
many question marks there. So many.
The Jets really think Russell Wilson sucks. If that's what they're like, if that's the move they're making.
They have
Or they think Nathaniel Hackett is a Josh McDaniels type beat. Great coordinator, terrible head coach.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe maybe they
see.
think he's a Josh McDaniels type beat. Who knows?
And listen, I won't be mad if he's terrible.
I
ain't gonna
don't
be mad.
I don't
come
know
back?
if I don't know. I actually don't think Mike LaFleur will have more success because I think he had a lot of young players and had a really good running back, a really good run game, even outside of Zach Wilson and how bad he played. With the other quarterbacks that played, I think his offense, and that defense was really good. I think his offense was, he got Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He gonna have a top. Cooper Kupp.
That means something, but I think the Rams are missing a lot more pieces than the Jets are, and could be losing more. Jalen Ramsey talks to trades and stuff. So I think Aaron Donald don't know what he about to do. Like I don't think, and then the quarterback situation, the offensive line is atrocious. Like I don't know what you're about to do. I would much rather go to the Jets offense right now if I'm an OC than the Rams offense, 100%.
I can agree with that.
But what if they want you to give Zach Wilson another shot?
No, I'm not agreeing to that. Unless you can guarantee me, unless you can guarantee me 2 or 3 years on my contract.
I'm just saying.
You want me to play with him this year, and if it ain't good, like let me go get my guy, and then we gonna move forward.
I'm just saying, if you're the OC, so you are getting directions, and they're like, "Yo, we got to see if we can make this Zach Wilson thing shake because we took him second overall, third overall, right? And the second was Trey, right? Third. So we took him third overall, and every quarterback that was taken after him." Okay.
Yeah. Zach
right.
Wilson
second
was
overall.
second.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was right. So we took him second overall, and every quarterback besides Trey, who just hasn't really played, has looked significantly better than him. Like,
there's no chance to give him then. That says it all. Like you missed. Sometimes teams can just don't. Like you gotta just bite the bullet, bro. You missed. Go get another Q. You have a team. Like that's the thing. You don't want to waste this trying to develop Zach Wilson. Like I think you have a young team that's still developing. You got a lot of core players, and they weren't. They have a lot of players. Like the Jets. Everybody's talking. The Jets are historically bad, but I think they have a lot of young players, solid players.
Hey, remember they said that boy. He didn't want to take accountability.
He hasn't lived up to any of the hype of that pick.
I didn't think he was that good from the jump, but
me either.
I don't buy it.
He made that one pro day throw. It was a wrap. Mesmerized. Sorry, mesmerized.
It was trash. It wasn't even that good. They hyped it up.
He's like, did you see him? Throw off the wrong foot and off across his body. He could be Mahomes head ass.
Chill,
yeah.
This last one is for everybody. Again, ironically talking about Nathaniel Hackett couldn't figure it out with Russ in that offense, and he won't have much success with the Jets. Run or pass?
Yeah, I'm running with that.
I'm a pass. Go ahead, Tio.
I'm running, bro. Like You couldn't do it with Russell Wilson. Zach Wilson, Mike White, who probably won't even be there anymore, and I don't know if Joe Flacco coming back. So I don't know who the Q finna be. They do have talent. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they got talent. They do have talent. A really good defense. But we talking about you running the offense. Like, I know this is something that he is finna specifically focus on, and that's what his specialty is finna be. But if you couldn't do it, Russell Wilson, listen, I don't know what to tell you, my boy. It wasn't like he didn't have weapons. It wasn't like they didn't have weapons. And then also, like, they had one of the fastest tight ends who they just wasn't using too. He run like a 4.3. So, I mean, listen, I don't see it happening. Like, me personally, I just don't see it happening.
I'm gonna run. Well, I guess whatever. I'm doing the opposite of T.O. I got confused real quick. I'm passing because I just think there are two things working in his favor. One, the bar from what he did at the Broncos has set it so low for what you expect from this man, in combination with how bad Zach Wilson has been, like, gives him a good little combination of scenarios. And particularly because I believe the Jets will go out and get a free agent quarterback. I think they may try to keep Mike White. They may not. Who knows? But I do think they're getting like a vet. I'm talking like Rodgers, Jimmy G, Derek Carr, someone in that range.
Lamar, maybe?
Hey, if they could trade for Lamar, I bet they would. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they're going for that type of quarterback because they have that type of team where all the players are real young and not making a lot of money, so you could give that guy a bigger contract.
Now, if something like that happens, then
that's what I'm trying to say.
Being successful.
I think.
But current situation, with the current situation, hell no.
That's facts. If he has to make Zach Wilson work, it's not happening. Like, I agree.
That's the deciding factor, you guys.
Yeah, that's definitely 1,000% the deciding factor.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't do it with Russ, I mean, who's the what up, bro? Who's the question mark Q? I mean, I don't know who's, what quarterback you're gonna bring in there outside of maybe Rodgers. That'd be better than Russ, in my opinion. Like, Garoppolo's good, I know, but I don't know. Like, I don't know who you're going to bring in there and have. I mean, I think they both those teams have solid weapons on both sides of the ball, and it's going to be tough to. The bar is set low, so I mean, it's really not high. But if it's Zach Wilson, I think you're in trouble. If it's anybody else, I actually think you got a chance.
Yeah. That's the trick. The bar is set low. Like, Gronk did an interview recently where he's like, they looked at me and thought I was like some big dumb jock. So I played it up all day long in the Patriots facility. So when I was doing well, they were like, God damn, look at Gronk. And then he's like, by the time my second year came around, I had broken all like the first 2-year tight end records. The tight ends coach looked at me and he was like, you out here finessing everybody. You finessing everybody. And I caught on to it. He's like, hey, just don't tell Bill. All right. Are we good with the new coaches?
Yeah, unless y'all got any other big name, big hires y'all want to talk about.
Colts hired Eagles offensive coordinator recently. That's
yes.
their new head coach.
What do y'all think about that?
They gave him a 6-year deal, which is the only reason why I'm going to run with it as being a good idea. Because at least that believes, like, I don't know, Jim Irsay has been a little weird about stuff as of late, but 6-year deal to me says we are willing to have you draft someone young and rebuild this offense and team. That's what that says to me, right? And at that point, I'm okay with that because we saw how good the Eagles offense was. Granted, like, they did have a little bit of an all-star team as well, but like it got significantly better, and we know that he can use good talent because like what he did when they got AJ Brown and the way that they started moving with it is crazy. So I like him. He did a good job. The team was stacked, but they gave him a 6-year deal, which says to me patience. And I would like to see what he can do in that situation.
I mean, if that's the case, then we
I
might see
mean-
them shop a couple guys like DeForest Buckner, Shaq Lawson,
Mhm.
Shaq Leonard. Might see them shop a couple big time guys to bring in more either assets or picks or whatever, so they can shape the team how he sees fit. So I mean, we'll see.
Jory is right. The Commanders interviewed Eric Bieniemy today. We talked about this pre-pod, but we can have this conversation real quick. Jory is right. All right, so I'm gonna start like T.O. T.O. should start because T.O.
Bro, I'm just sick of the disrespect, honestly. Like, this man done won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, multiple AFC championships. Like, they've had so much success. They was number 1 in every category pretty much this year, offensive wise, scoring, yards per game, pretty much damn
with
near
no
everything.
receivers.
With Travis Kelce, who seems to be wide open every play, and he the best outside of Patrick Mahomes, best player on the offense. Like, but EB gets so much disrespect, like, and it's just flabbergasted. Like, it's so insulting to be a guy that's had so much success in that position, but then you got guys like Jeff Saturday who has legit shots at a head coaching position, or I mean, okay, he just played the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator in the Super Bowl, and he beat them, and both of them got head coaching job positions, and he's been for the past couple of years, like in the mix of getting a head coaching job. So for me personally, I'm thinking Andy Reid is going. Since you bring up isn't him or Andy Reid, I mean Andy Reid comes out and he says, "Hey, he called a great second half. He called some great plays and got us back in the game," which is what he was saying as well.
Mhm.
And so I think personally, he might pull a Bruce Arians move and step down. Whether I'm not sure if he's going to go into, some kind of position within the organization. He might just retire outright. But I think ultimately he wants EB to probably step in that role because he knows he's not getting the recognition that he should be getting. So that might be an option.
Yeah, Bruce Arians kind of got bullied, kind of got pushed out. I think I don't see Andy Reid just giving the reins. I mean he's the head coach. I think that culture is built around him. I think. Do you feel like the only possible way that he's not getting a head coaching opportunity is because they feel like you had Patrick Mahomes? Like the only what other logical?
It's the only logical one. But at the end of the day, you got to look at this too. Like we look at, just like we're talking right now, your number 1 target was a tight end. Like, bro, you didn't have any top target at receiver.
Which most teams do.
Juju, Valdez, Scantling,
Tony, Sky
Moore, and Mecole Hardman, who was hurt too as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like that.
That's not a really good supporting cast to say y'all was number 1 in everything on offense.
Yo, it just didn't sit right with me because, like, I don't care who you have at quarterback. Some of those plays that they draw up are nuts.
They are.
Like, and the fact that they hit the Eagles back to back with that play they stole from the Jaguars and just flipped the side, and like, come on, like the Eagles, like that's clear. He's watched the film. He saw the Eagles had trouble defending that play. They hit it to the one side, smoked them, and he was like, I mean, I might as well just dial it back up, right? Like, and just flip the side and see if they noticed. They did not. Like, it bothers me because we know Sean McVay calls the plays with the Rams, right? But Kevin O'Connell got the job with the Vikings. For the past 2 years plus, all Andy Reid says is like, Eric Bieniemy out here calling plays. Eric Bieniemy deserves a shot. Eric Bieniemy drawing the stuff up. Like, you can't hear Andy Reid talk about the offense and not mention Eric Bieniemy's role in it. Like, I think he's doing that on purpose because he feels like his guy is kind of getting the short end of the stick, right?
Exactly.
But he's not getting the shot. Kevin O'Connell, we know, did not call the plays and got the shot. And, like, I feel like Jory mentioned something. He was like, it's hard to tell if Eric Bieniemy is a good leader of men or just an X's and O's guy. And I want to recall, if y'all remember that moment where Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes were on the field, and Eric Bieniemy got in Patrick's face and in his ass, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's something that a good leader of men does, because if you can't do it to the first guy, you can't
to
do
the
it
top
to
player.
Yeah.
But if you can't do it to Patrick Mahomes, then you can't do it to nobody else.
Yeah, but if you could do it to Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes responds and it works out, everybody else falls in line, right? I think like Belichick always talks about how he's able to be really hard on Tom. And if he was able to be really hard on Tom, everybody else was willing to fall in line because they're like, that's Tom Brady getting that.
I'm expendable. If he
who am I if that's Tom getting that, right? And like, I feel like that says to me, leader of men. He's not going. Nathaniel Hackett couldn't lead men like Austin Jordan's like they hired Nathaniel Hackett because of Rodgers, and see how that turned out in Denver. Nathaniel Hackett couldn't lead men because he allowed Russell Wilson to walk all over him. Y'all saw first two press conferences with Sean Payton. They were like, Russ has his own room. Russ has his own staff and building. He's like, Sean's like, we don't do none of that over here. Russ ain't getting his own office. Russ ain't getting his own QB coaches on this, like in the building with us. He's like, none of that happens over here. That is foreign to me. That is not how I do business. That's putting your foot down and being like, I know who you are. I know how much you make. And I know technically I am easier to expend than you, but I do not care, because that's the only way that you could run a team and lead men.
My boy said, I'm the head man. But,
yeah.
I mean, there's guys out here like Joe Judge, for example, who was a special teams coach prior to getting the head coaching job. So there's absolutely no reason why Eric Bieniemy doesn't get an opportunity somewhere. Like, there's just absolutely no reason for it. And you got guys out here like Ron Rivera, who still has a job, who Mr. Oh, we out in the playoffs. Oh, I didn't even know. You got to playoff. But it's guys like that still has a job. But you got guys like EB that's like, man, we won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. We lost one of the best receivers in the NFL, and Tyreek Hill. And look, our numbers, bro, they improved. It wasn't like they were just number one. They improved from the previous year. And they were number one. So it's like, you lost Tyreek Hill, your numbers improved, and you were the number one offense in the NFL. Like, bro, like, come on, that's obnoxious. Like, there's no reason for him to have that. No reason.
Yo, Jory, time for Riverboat Ron to set sail.
Yeah, it's time for him to get up out of there. He ain't done nothing since 2015 came.
Hey, that first year with Alex Smith and Taylor Heineke, they made that little run. They played Brady close the year he won the Super Bowl. But like, this is the thing though. So we've seen it. 4 years, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 wins. EB can't get his shot. So does it make sense for him to take a lateral position move that's really a regressive success rate, just so outside of the Andy Reid shadow, outside of the Kevin Mahomes shadow, he might be able to show something that do y'all think he can show something if he takes the Commander's job that gets him the head coaching position that he couldn't do with the Chiefs?
I think so.
Of the Commanders, maybe.
I mean, he's going to have to, like, but it's not like he gets to pick and choose, like, oh, yeah, I want to just go to Miami or, somewhere in particular where he can just choose. But, or like a San Francisco, where that job would be easy too, right? But I just think he has to go somewhere where it's been more of a Washington. I feel like is a perfect fit for the fact of getting out of his shadow, but then improving an offense that has been over the past couple of seasons been, for a long time at this point, been underperforming. And so it's not like he doesn't have the talent there. They have talent, you know what I'm saying? So he'll be able to go in and scheme up some stuff, I feel like, and they should have some success. So I think it's a move. It has to be a lateral move for him in order for him to be able to progress in order to get a head coaching opportunity, I think. As bad as it sounds, like he shouldn't have to make that lateral move from Kansas City or Washington just to get opportunity. But
he should be getting a head coaching positions. If they hire him at the Commanders, he should be getting a head coaching job. I mean,
exactly.
It doesn't make sense. There's no other reason, and there's no explanation behind it, unless they question his character or if it's a race thing. There's really no other. They're throwing all cards out there. There's no other reasons why, or unless you just don't want a head coaching job. Like if that's just not what he wants to do. I mean, there are some coaches that don't want to be head coaches. Like
That's
he keeps applying. Like he's there. He's taking the interviews. Like it seems like he wants it. That's all I'm saying. It seems like he wants it.
Maybe the opportunity, maybe the situation just ain't what he wanted to be, and they're not agreeing as far as him and management on what he wants.
Yeah, but no one's offered him the job. Like
Yeah,
Brian Flores, was like the Cardinals offered me. I said my gut tells me don't do it, so I took a DC position with the Vikings. Right. Like he was in their finalists. He had went for 2 interviews. He was like they wanted me, and I said my gut told me not to do it and go with the Vikings. Right. That EB's never said anything like that. EB's not getting the offer.
Yeah. I don't even think Cliff Kingsbury probably didn't even he didn't even deserve the position when he first got it. He didn't do anything in college. He was trash, but he got an opportunity in the NFL.
Bro had Mahomes and sucked. That was wild.
But he was trash in college. He was trash. Trash coach.
That's what's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And then also too, we got like earlier we was talking about Josh McCown almost getting the job in Houston. Like, bro, I ain't never coached. And you got somebody that's been out here going to the Super Bowl,
winning the Super Bowl.
Won 2 out of 3 in the past 4 years. Like, bro, are you serious?
Ain't no reason, right?
I got crazy love for D'Amico Ryan, but as soon as I saw Josh McCown take that QB coach position out in the Panthers with Carolina, I was like, how long until the prodigal son returns to Houston, now having some years of NFL coaching experience under his belt for more than one team and can like dodge all the suspicion? Because I think to be a head coach, the most likely position you held before is offensive coordinator. I think the second is actually QB coach and DC is the third. Just by the numbers, like your previous position is OC, QB coach, DC. So it's look, I'm just saying the resume is starting to look like the prodigal son might return to Houston. And I like D'Amico Ryans. I hope he gets a long leash. He deserves it because Houston's terrible. And he should be able to rebuild and reset and make a culture. But
are they going to let him?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's the question. We don't think so, but that's
the record has not looked good. 0 for 3 right now. 0 for.
Facts. All right, that puts us at the fly routes real quick. So what we like to do here is a segment called the fly route. We talk about a certain situation or choice the players are facing and where we think the best opportunity would be for them. We are going to start with Jimmy G. All right. We know he's a free agent now. None of this other nonsense contract trade stuff that happened last year. He's healthy. He technically would have been healthy enough to play in the Super Bowl by what everybody was saying. So he is a free agent. Where do y'all think Jimmy G should try to sign in the offseason?
I mean, if they want him, I would first move for me is Vegas. I mean, pairing back up with your old offensive coordinator, the system, you plug and play. Literally, I know the system. I have weapons already. And Darren Waller, Tay, you got Hunter Renfrow as well. And then, I don't know what they're going to do for running back. I don't know if they're going to re-sign Josh Jacobs or not. But, you have the talent there on the offensive side already. So, the system. It's the perfect fit. For me, that's the number one option if it's available.
I like the Raiders one. I think I would say the Jets, if not there, get paired up with Garrett Wilson. Plus, you have Breece Hall coming back next year off injury. I feel like they have a lot of good weapons, good defense. I think he would fit there, even if I'm not the biggest Nathaniel Hackett guy. And I do think pairing back up with Josh McDaniels makes sense. But if not there, I think the Jets make sense too.
Yeah, the Jets is probably where I was leaning as far as where he could end up. Got a lot of weapons. I mean, like I said, that team has talent to win now. I mean, we saw what they did this season without a quarterback. And I think they're just missing that piece. With all their players, they have a really solid team overall.
I mean, if it ain't there, it's probably the Bucks too. I mean, you step in, you got a plethora, honestly, of weapons. They get the offensive line together, then I mean, all they was, it was hurt this year, but I mean, you get the offensive line together down there. I mean, Mike Evans, bring Julio back.
Man, if you ask me,
it's
I'm not touching that area. I think the Bucks are in for out of regression because they who's their new OC?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They fired the OC that was making things pop when they had and now I'm like, I don't know what that's gonna look like. Look, if you ask me, and this is like a sneaky one, but I think he should look into the Panthers.
Yeah,
that division is atrocious, and Brady just left. Everybody else is gonna be cheeks. There ain't a quarterback better than you in that division by a mile.
That's true,
right? You got a fantastic defense. Like the Carolina defense is young and good, which is a really good recipe for being able to win games in Jimmy G fashion, if you ask me. Which winning games in Jimmy G fashion is executing on the board, not making too many mistakes, and winning a low-scoring game. That's the place. And I think Frank Reich is a good coach, good offensive mind, good coach, etc. You still got homeboy DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you still got DJ Moore. It's not the most laden situation, but I think that's a spot where if Jimmy G wins there, it changes a little bit about Jimmy G's narrative. It's always Jimmy G's being carried by great coaching and absurdly good teams.
Yeah. I agree with that. I like that fit too. I like that fit a lot.
All right. Bet. Our next one is for Rodgers, Cliff.
Still signed with the Packers right now, but things are on the fringe. We don't, he's taking some time to. Aaron Rodgers is always really dramatic with his decisions and what he wants to do. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. So I personally want to see the reunion with him and Devontae Adams in Vegas. And I just think, I think he already came out and said he didn't want to go to the Jets. And I think there's not another situation outside of. Oh. Did he? And am I wrong?
I hadn't heard it, but I can't tell you that you're wrong.
I don't blame him.
Just because of just
the history.
The Jets, Aaron Rodgers seems like that guy. I'm not gonna go play for the Jets.
He also couldn't handle the New York media.
He probably don't want to. That's probably. That's him being. He's low key. Does his own thing, but he's. I just think the Raiders, Las Vegas, with back with his boy. He tried it out with Derek Carr, didn't work out, and you give him if you sign Josh Jacobs back, you give him Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, Devontae Adams. You get that offensive line a little better, but I think that team has a chance to, if you're going to be like, all right, I'm going to sell on A-Rod and go compete in this division because you got Russ, you got Mahomes, and you got Justin Herbert. So, that division would be even crazier. You throw him in there. I just think that's personally what I want to see is I want to see the Devontae Adams Rodgers free.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good fit too, especially going with an offensive-minded head coach as well. And obviously with him being Mr. Discount, double-check himself, I think he would have a lot of say in the offense as well. And then with Josh McDaniels being the offensive-minded coach, I think that would really fit really well. He probably have a lot of freeway, a lot of runway to coordinate the offense, call plays on the field. SEC's fit as well.
That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, so I can see that definitely being a really good fit for sure. I can see that.
Man, I'm over it. I'm over Aaron Rodgers. I feel like wherever he goes, he's just going to be stat padding and trying to win MVP and not actually trying to win games and being a dick. So I don't even care. I truly don't.
Hey, yo, chill out.
Damn. Does anybody?
He got to get that off his chest.
Yeah. Look, I'm the biggest Aaron Rodgers hater in the room. Fuck 12 all day, every day.
I'm a big hater, man. You don't know how many times he done did my guys in, man.
Yeah, but you know how many more times he did it to my guys? We play him twice a year, at least. Like
a little more leverage. I mean, he did it to us in more significant situations.
I mean, if he went to if it wasn't so bad for him to go to Minnesota or something like,
yeah, but they're not letting Kirk go yet.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah. Jory over here talking mad greasy in the chat. I'm gonna give him one of these. I need him to stay in Green Bay and keep sole ownership of the Bears. Look, all I'm saying is the longer he stays in Green Bay, the quicker the script is about to flip on him. All right, the trends are moving in the opposite directions for these teams.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Like if he stays, I wouldn't mind giving him the work because we saw the Vikings get him this year. All right, we next. Yeah, we next. We next. All right, yeah, Lions too. We next. All right. Does anybody see a team not the Raiders?
A team not the Raiders.
Does Green Bay count?
I mean,
yeah. Honestly, I think the only team he would probably consider is Vegas.
Or does he retire?
Nah, if he can't go to where he want to go, he probably gonna retire.
I mean, look. Jory says San Fran.
Oh, the 49ers is a good point. Yeah, they've tried to trade for him before. Yeah, it's
he costs a lot of money, bro.
They got money tied up. Yeah. They got players right now. And Aaron Rodgers ain't the one to take no pay cut to go win.
Facts.
So I heard some Titans rumors. I don't know. The Titans don't seem all that great to me. Like their receivers aren't in a great spot.
Like that.
I mean, they got Derrick Henry. Their offensive line is a little
like that.
I think that's not a terrible look. I just don't know how him and Vrabel gonna vibe. Like Vrabel is a pretty direct coach. I mean, I don't know how Vrabel gonna vibe with him.
It ain't even that for me. It's more so about we all know how Aaron Rodgers is. Like your ass go out there and drop a pass. That's your ass for the rest of the season. So
yeah, they're gonna have to go get him a one.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he was to go there, like it would have to be like, hey, yeah, we're going to get you Devontae Adams from the Raiders. Like we're going to get you
trade
DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to get you a guy. Like he would not accept the trade there. He would retire before he do it. Right now, they didn't have a number one receiver. I think.
Okay, there's vibes. All right. I mean that wraps up the fly routes. We got a last segment with TL, the Ballers Bouquet.
Yeah, so we wrapping this up with the Ballers Bouquet, the heart of the show. Plenty of time, all the time, for the most part, honestly. Players only get the spotlight for the negative and salacious things in the media. So on the fly route, we like to highlight them for the positive and good things they do for the community. And this year, or this last episode here, we're going to give it to Mr. Patrick Mahomes himself, Mr. Super Bowl and NFL MVP. He's been doing an excellent job off the field, just as he's been doing on the field. So this year he's been pretty busy, one of activation for him and his 15 and the Mahomes Foundation. To date, nearly 1.9 million in grants have been awarded to a myriad of groups that are focused on uplifting youth. So the impact of this philanthropy is found well outside the confines of mere financial assistance. But then playing off his jersey number 15, the foundation has focused on continuing to activate its 15 for 15 program again in 2022. And as a result, groups of 15 have been supported in various ways, including sending underserved youth Chiefs and Texas Tech football games, funding adoptions for rescue dogs, complete with the year's worth of supplies for the forever homes, funding supplies for art-focused after-school programs in traditional classrooms, funding Camp Home scholarships for youth battling cancer, outfitting youth football teams with equipment and jerseys, covering educational tutorial programs for students in the urban core, funding scholarships for the children of fallen or active duty military members, supporting athletes competing in Special Olympics, providing assistance to anti-bullying organizations for in-school publicity. And in addition, the foundation will continue to donate to those dealing with food insecurity. And I mean, he's done a lot. Like it's really, the list goes on, and we just like to commend and applaud Mr. Super Bowl and NFL MVP for all the work he's doing off the field, just as much damage as he's doing on the field. So, shout out.
All right, that is it for this season of the Fly Route Podcast. Yo, if you listened at all this season, one episode or all of them, we really appreciate every single one of y'all, and we can't do this without y'all. Thank you. We will holler at y'all next season.